What's up, weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here, over at Bobber Fett's house, and I thought I was late, but old Bobber Fett here doesn't have shoes on, and he's drinking out of a coffee cup, and even better, Dave Koontz has flip-flops on and a tank top, and is currently trying to fix his motorcycle. Oh yeah, I mean, it's summertime in Florida, dude. That's approved riding gear. We got the band back together. It's Dave Koontz, my man Anthony, who hasn't been on the channel in a while, Life a Winner. We're ready to go far. You call me Koontz. My man Devin. And we got Devin, Dave, and Dylan here right now. There's a whole lot of D's, and I can't keep track of them all.
You can't keep track of all of the D?
That's how we roll in the Shade Tree Army, dude.
Do you like to draw?
Oh, yeah.
I put the D in raw, baby.
All right, we're officially about an hour later. Devin's changed his outfit, and David has officially put highway pegs on his bike. And, you know, 3 cheers if you remember the cunt puncher. Time to roll out after spending quite a long time hanging out while David fixed his bike and Devin fixed his bike and Devin got changed and Dave got changed, but I think we're ready. We got Devin and Alana on the road glide that traversed America all the way from Alaska. Jason, of course, on the Triumph Scrambler. Our man Koontz with his cool guy helmet and his pink t-shirt on the Street Glide. Check out his YouTube channel on the Triumph Bonneville. Jesse Gray on the Suzuki Savage. Dylan Yamagang got a new bike. He got a Harley now. He's on an 01 Softail. We got Murray on the Triumph Bobber. And, of course, let's not forget about my man Anthony, who you remember from our barber trip on his, I think it's a late 70s Shovelhead. Very cool motorcycle. And I tried to ride my Triumph Rocket 3. Unfortunately, I think it got some water in the gas tank, so boo-hoo, poor me. I'm not complaining. I'm taking out the 2020 Road Glide Special instead.
Great job.
Well, last video where I did a double day, it started out on the FXR and I finished on the Road Glide, so makes sense that I'll finish on the FXR today. And for the second day in a row, we have Amok and Liren back on the show. Well, we're heading down to Ybor City. I'll tell you, the lockdown is still in full effect. So all the bars are closed, all the restaurants are closed, but you can get to-go beer and to-go food. So we're going to see what we can scrounge down in Ybor City, see what we can take with us on the bikes, and see if we can't go somewhere and have an illegal picnic. I think we're going to open up back soon. I want to take one last ride down 7th Avenue while everything is kind of closed up. I really think we're on the tail end of this, and I don't know if we're on the actual tail end of people getting sick from it. I just think we're on the tail end of people being closed from it, because at a certain point, I don't know how it is in your country if you're watching from somewhere outside of the United States, but here in Florida, not one single person has received unemployment yet who applied for unemployment from the coronavirus. No one's gotten it. So basically, you got people who have just been living with zero income. I don't know how people are doing it because, you know, I had some savings, but I was able to keep making videos because of my patrons, and it's for people who didn't have anything and had no savings. I don't even know what they did. What could they have done? What could they do? Nothing, it seems like. And especially here in Florida where nobody received the unemployment like they paid taxes for. I don't want to get political or anything, but I'm like, how the hell, man? It's that you pay taxes for all those years, and then when you need your unemployment, everyone's just like, yeah, well, sorry, you can't actually get it. Anyway, like I said, I think things are looking up. I think we're going to be opening back up soon, and this is going to be one of our last hurrahs for going out and having to do things guerrilla style. We're going to park behind the shame here and see if we can't. This is the wrong way, man. I promise you, it is. See if we can't avoid running over some chickens here. Alright, I think we're gonna try Zydeco and see what they got going on. They're just incredibly upset. You see why? Look at the hawk on top of that pole right there.
Oh, that's why they're screaming. Oh, the babies.
Yeah, he's got one on top of the pole.
Oh, no, baby.
Yeah. Only the strong survive. It comes as no surprise that, of course, they were able to take care of us over here at Zydeco. And even though we can't hang out inside, we're still getting beers to go. And Paulie's over here bringing us samples, taking care of Laren with some smoked Hellas, which I've had before. It's absolutely amazing. All right, so when your growlers or crowlers, sorry, come in a 3-pack, I don't know if you can tell, but these are a little bit bigger than normal, and they're delivered by the owner of the brewery. You know you're doing all right.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, J. Paul. We appreciate you, brother.
Got it, bud.
Well, last time it was rain and dirt roads, and this time it's a train. Laren's pretty much 0-2 for rides with old Shadetree Surgeon here. The biggest thing I miss about living down here is getting to drive down this all the time. I used to love living down here in Palmetto Beach. To anybody who is a fan of the old outro, this will be a very familiar spot. The Sunshine Lollipops outro that was filmed right on this seawall. I think you're probably going to go ahead and end this ride here. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff happening during this one, just good times with good people, which I always enjoy. Add some good beer in there from Zydeco, who are our good friends as well, and all of a sudden, even though we're under quarantine, life ain't that bad, because as always, it's just about what you make of it, not about what you're doing. So I can pretty much have a good time anywhere. It could be the apocalypse, and it very, very well may be the apocalypse. I'll still find a way to have a beer and a good time with good people. Until next time, y'all, keep it weird.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together.
Well, we're officially on the 3rd day of me trying to make enough motorcycle content to justify a video. Now, I'm a firm believer in not every video is going to be your best video, so they don't have to be absolutely perfect, but I still hold myself to a certain level on my videos where I don't want to release something that I find boring. So that's with this quarantine where the videos haven't been quite as exciting because we're not going to a bunch of places, we're not going to a bunch of bars like I usually go to. I find myself just recording multiple days instead of just releasing, this is what we did today. And with that little mishap of not recording an entire days of writing, here's your bonus day. Speaking of quarantine, you know what happens when you have a lot of time to sit around and think? And trust me, I'm feeling it. I'm making videos, I'm learning stuff, I'm writing, I'm having fun, but you have extra time to think. All of a sudden, I've been in quarantine for 30 plus days and I believe in aliens now. Let's rewind a second, because I realize that, especially here on YouTube, there's a lot of people who are into the whole alien thing, but I'm pretty much always really identified as a skeptic, like really a hard-nosed skeptic, not just for aliens, but for anything. And that's not necessarily a good thing. I'm not bragging about being very, very skeptical. That's just part of my personality that I am aware of, and it comes from being a kid. I was raised by my grandmother, and my grandmother believed in everything. And everything from aliens, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, to ghosts, to poltergeist, to when I say everything, she believed in everything and told us that it was all real too. So I grew up believing in every cryptozoology fanciful myth you could ever freaking imagine. We used to go in the woods searching for goblins and fairies, and she would tell us that aliens had visited her. She would say our house was haunted. We spent nights out in the front yard drawing pentagrams in salt under a waxing gibbous moon. When I say my childhood was completely chock full of this stuff, I'm really underselling it right now. I grew up thinking all of this was completely real. We watched the X-Files every week, and it might as well have been a documentary to us as a kid. So just remember that. And so, like a lot of kids, when they're faced with something that their parents believed in, or at least the people who raised them believed in, when you get older, you kind of throw that off and you go the opposite way. And I did it in a hard way when I finally realized, like, you can go to the Bermuda Triangle, nothing will happen. Holy moly, there's no such thing as the Loch Ness Monster. Like, this was just big revelations to me. And I completely went the opposite way and became a really, really hard-nosed skeptic, to where I don't believe in anything. I believe we're fleshy sacks of meat who have this spark of intelligence walking around, this rock hurtling through the universe. And I pretty much just left it at that. Whenever somebody comes to me with like something supernatural or otherworldly, alien or ghosts or some sort of creature like Bigfoot living in the woods, to me, I usually apply Occam's razor to it and say, you know what? The most likely solution is that we don't, no, that doesn't exist. And there you go. And I've always applied that to aliens as well. I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to go on about, well, the Earth is this many light years away from blah, 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 and the likelihood of blah, blah, blah. Just go like, hey, you know what? Look at it. You apply Occam's razor to the problem and say, if aliens were visiting regular, if they had been here, we would probably know. The simplest solution is like, hey, no, they haven't. Okay. When I say I'm underselling how much we believed in all this as a kid, you really got to believe me. I mean, it was everything. We had a subscription to the Weekly World News. We believed in Bat Boy. We believed that Elvis had been abducted by aliens. We had all sorts of books on the Bermuda Triangle, like big books on the Bermuda Triangle and cryptozoology and Bigfoot and Nessie and all these things. Like, this was a big part of my childhood. I'm really not saying that enough, where someone thinks like, oh, maybe this was just something you believe because you're a kid and kids believe in this stuff. Like, no, this was actively a subject in our lives. I also want to say that I'm not implying that Occam's razor is an infallible philosophy when dealing with an unknown problem. It's not. It's just what I usually do, and it is very fallible. Like, sometimes the explanation is much more complicated. Sometimes it's not the simple answer. But I'm just trying to explain something about me and give you guys enough background on why I would be very, very disinclined to ever believe in anything otherworldly. Fast forward to the quarantine and me sitting on an ass all day and having a lot of time to think. I will tell you, one interview changed my mind. Because, as I said before, I'm not a scientist. I can repeat things that scientists have said. That doesn't make me a scientist. Like, let me tell you, just because you know about space, just because you read a couple of little blurbs on some freaking website, or you share science memes or anything like that, that doesn't make you a scientist. You can repeat something a scientist said or figured out. That doesn't make you science man. Just like repeating quarterback stats doesn't make you a football player. You are a fan of science, okay? You are not a scientist. So I am not a scientist either. But what I do know is people. And I deal with people for a living. I'm a bartender. I know people. I got a pretty good bullshit meter. I can usually tell when somebody's exaggerating something or making something up or flat out lying to me. And I saw one interview with this guy who is a Navy pilot. And let me tell you, they don't just let anybody be Navy pilots. I'll have a link to the interview down below. And this was a guy who said he laid eyes on something. Now, he didn't call it an alien. And I think that's very important. He just said, I don't know what this is. Was it an unidentified flying object? Yeah, because that's what you call them. Did he say it came from another planet? No. And I watched this whole interview with this guy, and I believed him. Quick pit stop to pick up my niece Chantel and her Suzuki Savage SV. Wait, no, not SV650. It is a 650, not an SV650. Just a Savage 650. Boulevard 650, whatever you want to call it. It'll start. It'll be fine.
Trying.
I believe in it. Hell yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah. Aliens. Well, the guy's name escapes me. I'll have it written down below somewhere, but he was a Navy pilot. As I was saying, they don't just let anybody fly around F-18 Hornets, all right? I think there's a little bit of a vetting process for that. And he didn't describe seeing an alien. He said he saw something, and him and other F-18 Hornet pilots all saw the same thing. They captured it on radar or LiDAR on video and saw it with their own eyes. So listening to him talk about this, listening to him say it, and he's not scared, he's not weirded out about it, he's saying it so matter-of-factly, talking about all these other LiDAR instances where they saw unidentified flying objects, and also says, like, oh, by the way, this actually happens fairly frequently. Like, this is something that happens. Then all of a sudden, the Pentagon comes out and says, like, yeah, they say, yeah, the video is real. It's not a faked video. And this guy's talking about it. And again, it's not like, I'm like, oh, the pieces have all come together. I believe, aliens, little green men. Like, that's not the case. But I watched this guy, and I watched the whole interview with him, and he did not seem like he was lying. There was nothing to embellish. He didn't make it seem crazy. In fact, he made it seem very mundane. And I will tell you, I was genuinely disturbed. I lost sleep because I have never in my life watched somebody talk about it so freaking calmly. And it's not like you can discredit who he is. Like, the guy saying, like, yeah, I'm an F-18 Navy pilot. You'll get to lie about that. Like, it's all true. It's very easily disprovable whether he is who he says he is or not. And I don't want to watch anything else because I don't want to fall down a rabbit hole of weird alien documentaries. I've seen a couple. Most of them strike me as absolute horse crap. I look at this guy. I watched this interview. That guy, whether what he saw was from another planet or not, I don't know that. He even said he didn't know that, but I believe that he saw something. And that's a big freaking step for me, man. That's a big step for old shade tree surgeon to hear somebody talk about something they can't explain and go and believe them. Like, I believe that guy was telling the truth. Anyway, I'll have that link down below. You can watch it and you can make up your own mind on whether that guy's telling the truth or not. Leave it down in the comments if you did and let me know what you think. But basically, Shade Tree Surgeon now believes in aliens. It's been a weird month. Of course, believing in aliens, or even if they came out and said hello right now, still isn't going to stop us from riding our motorcycles and having a good time. So that's what we're doing. So now me and Chantel are headed over to my buddy Kevin Roy's house, he of the garbage can stuffing, and he says he's got a little spot near there out on the beach that is pretty cool and secluded. So I'm gonna go out there, we're gonna drink some illegal beers on the beach, and I'm gonna stare up into the sky and ponder the manner of things. Dude, what the fuck, dude? You all good? Dude, holy shit, that guy freaking pulled out right in front of you. That dude, what the...
That ain't nothing. That shit happens all the time.
I know, I was like, gee,
I'm so used to that. Like,
you handled it, obviously, you handled it perfectly, but...
give him the thumbs down.
Yeah, not even a middle finger, just a thumbs down. It hurts more too. Like later on, you're like,
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Let Chantel be an example to all of you on how to handle it when somebody cuts you off. Just stay calm, right around them, and don't even give them the finger. As Chantel says, give them the thumbs down.
You want to go through some twisties?
I'm following you, man. Of course, now we're in Kevin's neighborhood, so he knows all the good roads out here. And again, anybody who lives around the Tarpon Springs, Temple Terrace area, I'm sure they know about Racetrack Road, the very aptly or inaptly named Racetrack Road. It was actually on this road that I decided I wanted to get a Ducati Multistrada. My very first test ride on a Ducati Multistrada was on this road. Not the one I own, but on one. And it only took one ride around on that thing before I was hooked. A+, Kevin. Kevin's winning today. Already an absolutely gorgeous ride. Wow. Absolutely gorgeous out here. Guarantee it's like Rich Dickhead Central. Look at these freaking houses, man. Gorgeous, though. If I had all the money in the world, this would be a pretty cool place to live. Wow, this is definitely a winner. I have to come on this ride more often.
This is usually a beach. They close that off.
It's no worries, man. It's beautiful out here. I'm down to sit and freaking chill out. I gotta pee anyway, so. Well, that was a beautiful ride with amazing people across some of the most beautiful places Florida has to offer. Tarpon Springs is amazing. It makes me want to go back there and do a video when things are back to normal so we can go to the cool bars and restaurants out there and show you what those are like. For now, it's time to head home and do a little bit of editing. God, I'm so ready for this to be over, although I've been enjoying myself and I just have too much time to think right now. And I'm just having existential crises over aliens and are we alone in the universe, and I'm just ready to get back to work and not have to think about this shit too much. So, for real, till next time, y'all, keep it weird.